Just arrived. First thing we do is double check all the area. See around here. It's in definite need of removal. Light here. Fixed obviously afterwards. I need to put the gutterings right. And then crack on. See where we're currently at. First things first. Start preparing the area. So you can see there, we've done around the windows. That is our first level of protection. We'll also be using some ply over the top or Corex, depending on the job requires. Cracking on. Getting a few bits and pieces out ready. Just hacking off. All you need is a demolition hammer, right? Very, very wrong. A lot more goes into this than just getting out a hammer drill and smashing away, isn't it, Heath?
Yeah.
It's like all good demolition work. This is my normal one. It's quite a large one. I've taken them out now. Upgrade.
Exciting.
Big boy. Try this one today. Breaking her in. Okay. Is this weighty boy?
I should have put my headphones on.
Huh?
That thing sounds like a jet.
That's amazing.
I think there's something you're doing wrong.
So as you can see, this is hacking off the render. This render is in very poor condition. That said, it is still an absolute pain to remove. It's very, very challenging. Really crumbling and coming off in very awkward, unpleasant little bits. Very, very time consuming and quite hard work. So that hammer drill is just over 7 kilograms. The chisel head that I'm using in the photo is actually a bit too big. I'm just sort of trying that one out. I think that's a 6-inch chisel head, which for this type of render, it's a bit on the big side. So I'm going to change it to the 4-inch one.
The smaller one and see how that goes.
So they're the two next to each other. They're very similar, but the newer, bigger one has got a bit more kick to it.
Cracking on.
You can see there, we're powering through. Got Ethan with his favourite. So it's so we've actually got 3 size hammer drills. That Milwaukee, it does tear through the batteries, so be warned. So the Milwaukee one is the smallest, lightest, but also weakest. So it's a bit, in my opinion, it takes a lot longer. And you can see the mess involved as well. We do have a skip and we clear up everything very well. The skip actually on this job hasn't arrived yet.
Operation
There it
cleanup
is.
has commenced. Operation cleanup has commenced.
The front off. Chris using the hammer drill there on the other side. So this is a semi-detached property, or where we're doing all three sides of this house. That's really needed this render doing for some time. And what we're actually doing, we're wrapping it in 100mm external wall insulation. It's going to make this house lovely and toasty. More importantly, watertight again, because the poor lady that lives there has been dealing with horrible mold and damp. And for those three walls, we've got this small mountain of insulation. We're very lucky that she has such a lovely large garden, because we have half filled it with insulation. We will be gluing that to the outside of her property. All the render in this scenario is removed, will be removed. You see there's some fun pipes. In an ideal world, we can get sometimes you can get the pipes replaced. We've not been able to get the pipes removed on this one.
How's it going? How's it going? In the zone. Just in the zone.
Once you have removed all the render, you want to brush the wall. So you give all the loose debris a brush. You can use a stiff long-handled brush. You can even hose it down a little. That will help, because it is such dusty work. And then you will need to give it a coat of very strong primer. We used a universal primer, a red one. That's what's gone over there. That will help the next coat adhere, the render itself, or the adhesive adhere properly. If you don't do that, you'll find it's just so dusty, it can just plop off the wall when you try and put the glue or the render onto the wall. So we've also, you see there, a very pretty plinth. We've added a decorative plinth all the way around the perimeter of the property. This will protect from rising damp. They do have a damp course in place, but we've extended that. We've kept the same height, but where our beads run along, we've had a thick, full bead of waterproof silicone running along, and that's the starter track there. So that is where our 100mm insulation is going to sit on. So underneath the 100mm insulation, it will all be lovely watertight and protected from the elements. So she's not going to get any issues below there. And we will have to amend the gate as well, because that wall has come out significantly. But you can see that shiny track running all along the perimeter, all along the bottom there, is called a starter track. And that is what this beautiful insulation will sit on. It also helps give a very nice finished detail to the underside. And that is 100mm. You can get them in all sizes, all sorts of thicknesses. I believe the thinnest is probably about 20mm, 25mm. And this is an EPS insulation, so we are using an EPS base coat from EWI to stick them to the wall.
Okay. Today, on this video, we're showing you a new funky tool to cut EPS insulation. The insulation that's like polystyrene. So first you mark your measurement. I know this is 37. Or you can mark each end and use a straight edge if you're not comfortable doing that method. Now normally when you cut this stuff, the polystyrene goes everywhere. Really messy, but not with a hot knife. So we're going to be using a hot knife to cut this. This heats up to 600 degrees. And what I'm going to do, nice and slow, Ooh, right. Follow that line. Now you don't want to rush it, so let the heat do the work. It's almost like a hot knife through butter. If you put pressure, you can distort the knife. So you just want to let that do the work there. You see it sizzling away there. And now also it can be a bit tricky, this is 100mm insulation. It can be quite tricky to keep a straight line. What helps is if you're unfamiliar, you can use a guide or a block of wood, say 2-3 inches to guide. There's a guide to help keep it straight. I'm not too bad at this, so I can just crack on. He says, let's see if it fits. Right. There. So obviously there's no glue or anything yet. I'm just pre-cutting a few. Is so much. Not only is it quicker, but so much less mess. So very nice tool to use if you do a lot of external insulation. It is, be warned, it is only for the EPS or the polystyrene style. The Kingspan or the mineral wool it won't work on. So it does only work on the sides. Okay. Left Lucy. Yeah. So when fixing external insulation, the first thing we do is prepare a whole load of cuts. So before we mix any gear, we get a whole load ready. We're going to get a few more ready, and then we will mix up some gear. You see now we've got the big tub out there. That is our 110 litre tub. And I believe we're getting 3 bags on in one go. So we're using our render pump to help spray the glue on. A bit of a tricky spot there. Yeah, that forward bit there.
But we effectively, you want about 40% coverage on the back of each board that then gets pressed into the brickwork. You can see the little pump there ready to go. You don't have to use a pump. I just found a lot quicker and less messy, and also the gear sort of a bit more accurate on the gear wastage and usage, I should say. A quick little time lapse here, bit of a weird one, and you'll see us getting it on. Thanks for watching.